So last year was our inaugural event. This is our second annual Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. And I can't thank you enough all for being here. Tonight we're going to honor and recognize 11 very special former athletes, coaches, contributors to the athletic program at Fairport. You're going to hear stories that are going to impress you. They might bring a tear to your eye if you're a family member. Some of the stories go back 50 years. We've got inductees from back in the 1980s. Last year we had them from, I think, 1940s. So while we're honoring those 11 people tonight, to me, it's really about the tradition of Fairport athletics, about the pride that goes with it, and the culture that surrounds Fairport sports and athletics. I've only been a fan and watching Fairport sports since I first went to basketball and football games in 1953. That doesn't mean I'm old. I was very, very little when that happened, when I went to games. My dad was coaching the basketball team, and I remember games over at West Avenue School, which is now condominiums. But I've been watching these athletics from Fairport for all that time, and it has never changed. It's as great now as it was in the 1950s and 60s and 70s and so on. There's something about our community that has given us a certain amount of pride that in some ways we have to be careful that we maintain our humility. As an example, as a former principal at Fairport High School, I'm very proud of Fairport High School. And I have this bad habit that annoys the heck out of my wife. I probably have more than one bad habit then. But frequently we're out to dinner or someplace and the young person is waiting on us, and I often will say, "Where do you go to high school? Are you a high school student? Where do you go to school?" And they'll say, "I go to Brighton," or "I go to Pittsford," or Penfield, or whatever. And I'll say, that is a great school. You must be so proud of that. In fact, I've heard that it's almost as good as Fairport. You can see why she gets annoyed when I say that, I guess. But that's from the heart, and I mean it. I don't think I could be any more proud of being from a community than I am of being from Fairport. And I have a feeling that you all share that feeling. You're all here tonight to share that. So thank you for being here. Truly appreciate it. Before we start honoring our individuals tonight, I do want to pass out several thank yous. So bear with me, because putting this together over the last year or two has been a team effort. And there's a lot of members to the team, so I'll try to do this fairly quickly. But first, of course, the Board of Education. When we proposed this idea a couple of years ago, Brett Provenzano and the Board of Education, they said yes right away. And they've thrown their support behind it, and we appreciate that a great deal. When I first started as a school administrator in an interview, not in Fairport, someplace else interviewed me, and one of the questions of my interview was, "Are you able to say no?" That's the approach in some places. And I've always turned that around and I ask people, are you able to say yes? Because the idea is to find a way to say yes, to do more positive things. And Brett epitomizes that, and I appreciate that, Brett. We're going to ask you to come up in a few minutes and say a few words, if you don't mind. So thank you to Brett. Thank you to Fritz Killian, our athletic director. Again, when we started, I didn't want to burden the athletic director. Fritz Killian has a 24/7 job as it is, and Fritz has done nothing but support us, be part of it, and been a great help as we've got this thing going. So Fritz, thanks to you as well, who also is going to say a few words. Lauren Leone, Lindsay Reddig, our communications specialist, Megan Hernandez, Scott Vadney, Lynn Arena, Donna Weiss, Aaron Smith. These are all people in the district who stepped up and continue to help us put this thing together. And I don't know how many people are out here tonight, but putting this together takes almost a year to do it each time. And without that group of people from the district, there's no way it could happen. So thanks, Lauren, and thanks to all of you. Two really special thank yous, and then we'll move on, is the two people that I've known for quite a while and have worked here for a long time. And if you know them, you'll know why I'm taking a minute to say thank you. First of all, Tony Exton. Tony, can you wave back there? Tony? Tony's when I first came to Fairport as a principal in '95, I had to teach Tony what the internet was. He didn't really know what that was. So being the technology expert that I am, I taught Tony all about that, didn't I, Tony? I might have that backwards. I'm not exactly sure. But Tony's been here for 33 years, Tony? 34 years. He's a technology expert. And the thing about Tony Exton is he has never yet learned to say no. We just talked about that a minute ago. Tony says yes whenever you need help. And Tony, I know that you're going to be going down different things not too far from now. And I wish you the best of luck. And I can't thank you enough for all the help you've been over the years. How about a round of applause for Tony Exton? And finally, I'd like to thank Bob Clark. Bob's standing over there. Bob is the principal at Fairport High School now. He's moving on to another position next year. I'm the only one in the room, Bob, I think, who knows what your job has been like the last 12 years, how difficult that job is, and how much time it takes, and how much dedication you've shown to it, and how much you've improved Fairport High School over the years. And, you know, he's probably been out every night this week, and where's Bob tonight? He's here supporting us again tonight. So, Bob, I respect everything you've done at Fairport High School. I thank you tremendously, and I wish you the best of luck in the future. Bob Clark. Thank you. We had some students back there with Elena and Rick who were playing some wonderful music when you came in. A round of applause for those guys. Thank you, guys. Elena. Later on, in the middle of the program, we take a little break, and I think other students are coming in, the jazz ensemble, and they're going to play the Fairport Fight Song. So between now and then, I want you to try to remember the words to that song. Several years ago, Mr. Missangelo was inducted into the Alumni Hall of Fame. Mr. Missangelo was over 90 when we inducted him. He was totally blind at the time. He was near, he was getting up there. He was probably about 96, 97 years old. When we inducted him, he stood next to me, a cappella, I think it's what you call it, right? No music. And he sang the Fairport Fight Song all by himself. And it was the greatest thing. There were people crying, and he was, because he played football in Fairport in the 1930s, and he remembered that song. Some people think that it's on Wisconsin and that the University of Wisconsin started it, but we actually know that Fairport started it. Wisconsin stole it from us, so that's how that worked. And finally, in my thank yous, our committee, 2 years ago when we started this idea, we put a committee together of former coaches, some former athletes, community members. I think we've got 13 people, students. We've got 2 students on our committee. And this would not happen without the hard work of the committee. And I want to make sure that they get the recognition they deserve. You'll see them tonight. Some of them are going to be speaking. Some of them will be handing out awards. These 2 guys right here, JoJo and Christian, are going to be helping with awards as well. And I'd like all our committee members to stand up so we can give them a round of applause. If you're on the committee, please stand up. Coach Fitch, I see. Come on. Clarky. There we are. Thank you, guys. It's a great group of people. Okay. I went through those kind of quickly. I do want to ask our superintendent, who, again, has given us the support to this. Come on up, Brett, and maybe give a few words for us. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is, again, Brett Provenzano. This is my 11th year as superintendent, my 21st in the school district. I just want to say on behalf of the Board of Education, we are so grateful that you're all here to celebrate and acknowledge Fairport excellence. Dave did an amazing job thanking so many people behind the scenes, but I think it's important that we recognize Dave Paddock. Dave has a big heart for Fairport, and again, when we talked about this, we went out to McCardle's, and it was just an automatic yes because he had clarity, he had vision, he had purpose, and that was to take our Fairport spirit and unite around that. And as a Webster guy, right, he talks about pride and community, right? I have to bring that in, but at the same time, I was in the, you said 50s, I was in the 80s watching this thing unfold, right? And some of the stories that are being revealed here tonight and shared and celebrated were actually part of my stories as a Webster guy. I remember, again, coming to Fairport on Saturdays or Friday nights, reading the newspaper about what was happening in the stat line, and Fairport's a special place. And to be a part of it and to be fortunate to be superintendent and being welcomed as part of this family, truly humbled. And I think it goes deeper than the pride and community spirit. I think in Fairport, it's okay to say love. It's okay to say we appreciate all that you do to make each other better, to lift each other up. And so just really grateful to just be a small part of it. Such an incredible night. And guess what? We're going to be here for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and it's not going to be long enough. I remember here last year hearing all the stories. Again, feeling those stories growing up and seeing it and seeing some of these great legends, truly an honor to be a part of it. I'm excited that we have so many student athletes. If you're a student athlete, stand up and raise. If you're a student athlete in Fairport, please stand up. Stand up and just. This is your night, and this is the reason why you put so much effort and energy. If you're a coach, please stand up. Coach, if you're a coach right now in Fairport. Your spirit is alive and well in this night. And again, enjoy it, relish the moments, and I can't wait to hear the stories. So I'm going to bring Dave back up, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to welcome you all. We'll see you out and about.
Webster? Did you say Webster? Actually, I've heard that's a pretty good school. In fact, well, you know the rest of it. I'd like to invite our Director of Athletics, too. I think he has some Webster roots in him as well. Am I right, Fritz? But Brett and Fritz are 150% Fairport guys. It didn't take long before they became that. So Fritz Killian, everybody. Thank you, Fritz.
Thanks. Thanks, Dave, and it's just an honor and a privilege to be here. And as Dave said, it hasn't taken long. The Kool-Aid tastes extremely well on this side of Monroe County. It is so delicious. Good evening and congratulations to all of our inductees. I think we can all be in admiration and in awe of the honor and just to be here and celebrate these inductees' success. The individuals tonight, they were part of league championship teams. They were part of Section 5 championship teams, New York State championship teams, all league members, all state members, all Americans, and also individuals that have coached and competed at the professional level. I don't know another school district that's going to have that in New York State. Tonight's inductees have also been inducted in other multiple Hall of Fames. They have not only represented Fairport through competition, but they've represented colleges and universities, professional leagues, and our great nation in world competition. They serve as models for our youth, and I applaud all of you. Welcome back home. Once a Raider, always a Raider. Congratulations.
Well, with that, let's start with our inductions and what you all came for. And we're going to begin. I'm going to ask Pam Morris from our committee to come on up and help with our first presentation. Pam's right here. Thank you, Pam. So, from Fairport High School to the NFL, that's a journey very few can claim. But Mark Banowitz's talent, intelligence, and drive made that happen. It's an honor to stand here tonight and to help induct one of Fairport's finest, Mark Banowitz, into the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. At Fairport, Mark was a three-sport athlete, earning varsity letters in football, basketball, and baseball. Coach Lanning describes Mark as the standard of the Greek ideal, strong in body, strong in mind. His size and strength certainly helped him stand out early in his athletic career, but he developed those attributes into genuine talent using hard work, drive, and dedication. At Fairport, Mark was a leader on the football team due to his effort, his intelligence, and his competitive spirit. He had an attention to detail that was second to none, and he was willing to make sacrifices for his team. He didn't just sacrifice his body. He also switched positions from tight end to wide receiver and from defensive end to linebacker because that's what the team needed. Mark was a captain in his senior year, led the team to 2 sectional titles, and achieved individual All-County and All-Greater Rochester honors. After high school, Mark took his football skills to Syracuse University, where he grew as a player, switched positions again, and became a key part of the Orange football program. Playing in the trenches of Division I football is not easy, but Mark's toughness and leadership stood out. He was a 3-year starter at offensive tackle, a captain, and led Syracuse to 3 Big East titles and 5 bowl games. While at Syracuse, he was named to the first team All-Big East football team, but perhaps even more impressively, he managed to make the honor roll every semester and was chosen as an academic All-American twice. In his senior year, Mark was notably named a finalist for the academic Heisman Trophy. After his tenure in Syracuse, Mark's talent and drive earned him the opportunity that so many young football players dream about. He was drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars in the 2000 NFL Draft. Mark actually turned down a Rhodes Scholarship to pursue a career in the NFL. He played with the Jaguars for 3 seasons and played 1 season in Denver before injuries ended his career. Today, Mark continues to be a leader in the business world and is currently a partner at Corient, a wealth management firm. Mark is a role model for younger athletes, proving that with hard work, dedication, and belief in yourself, dreams really can come true. I'm going to interject right here because Mark Banowitz has received honor after honor after honor, deservedly so. I have the honor, as chairman of this committee, to call people and tell them that they are been selected. I don't think Mark could have been any more excited about this award than maybe since he got drafted in the NFL. And that, to me, that really says something. His enthusiasm and excitement for this award means so much to me, and I think it says something about him and our community. So tonight, we don't just celebrate an incredible career. We celebrate a hometown kid who made good and who never forgot his roots here in Fairport. Mark, on behalf of the entire Fairport community, congratulations. You've made us all proud. Please join me in welcoming Mark Banowitz into the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. I'll call him up. Yeah, thank you. For our next presentation, Elaine McGurk, would you please come up? Our cheerleading, are you still coaching? You retired once and you came back, so I wasn't sure. Elaine McGurk, our very successful cheerleading coach, is going to help with our next presentation. Thanks you, Elaine. When it comes to qualifications to be honored in the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame, it would be hard to imagine anyone meeting those high standards more clearly than our next inductee, Coach Gary Clark. Coach Clark coached the Fairport varsity boys swim team, also known to many as Clark's Sharks, from 1975 to 1999. He turned the swim program at FHS into not just a Section 5 powerhouse, but also into the most successful high school swimming program in New York State. 18 Section 5 championships, 19 Monroe County championships, ranked as the #1 team in New York State 13 times, a dual meet record of 286 wins and just 30 losses. Clarky, we got to talk about those 30 losses. What's going on? That's a 91% winning percentage. Gary also coached the girls team 1 year as well, and when he did, they too were ranked #1 in the state. 44 of his swimmers have made All-American, and many were state champions. Some are here tonight. Coach Clark is a member of the Section 5 and the New York State Public High School Athletic Association Halls of Fame, as well as the Frontier Field Walk of Fame. In 1986, Gary was selected as the National Coach of the Year by the Gannett newspapers, and he was nominated for that award 4 times. So as I said at the start, Gary Clark meets the requirements for the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame, but just barely. The championships and the records are all pretty darn impressive, but the legacy of Gary Clark is much more than those gaudy numbers. Many consider swimming to be an individual sport where the top athletes simply spend hour after hour, length of the pool after length of the pool, grinding out the distance and practice that it takes to win on meet day. I was never a competitive swimmer, but I'm going to assume that is a part of it. But if you were one of Clark's Sharks, you know it was a team sport, capital T-E-A-M. Gary understood the concept of team, even in this traditionally individual sport. He preached and modeled the team concept and developed the dynamics of being a true team with all of his athletes. The team concept even existed at home for Coach Clark, as he was blessed to have the love and support of his family and Mary throughout his long coaching career. The amount of pride that Coach Clark instilled in his athletes was legendary. Being on the swim team at Fairport was the true highlight of their high school days, and his former swimmers still carry that with them today. If you ever have a chance to talk to one of Gary's former athletes, and there's several here tonight, it doesn't take long to hear that pride come through, no matter how many years it has been since they left FHS, or to recognize the immense respect they have for their former coach as well. While many of Coach Clark's swimmers have had highly successful careers at the collegiate level and beyond, to hear them talk about Gary as the coach who made them who they are, and not just in the pool, is inspiring indeed. Despite all the accolades and all the unbelievable success, Coach Clark has never changed. His belief in hard work, teamwork, a positive attitude, and indeed his humility have carried him as a coach, has been his trademark as a teacher, a father, a husband, and a grandfather. I was going to tell the story about the summertime camp at Camp Clark. So I didn't put it in the speech. I'm just going to tell it real quick. The grandkids come and spend a week with Gary and Kay, and the first thing he does is takes their phones away from them for the week. That's worth an applause right there. I can imagine they never forget their week at Camp Clark. I'm sure they're glad when they get those phones back, too. I'm so glad that some of your family could be here alongside you tonight, Coach. They are true rocks for you, just as you have been for them and so many of us and others. As a coach, teacher, and family man, Gary Clark provides a fantastic role model for all of us. They just don't make them like you anymore, Coach Clark. So Gary Clark, it's my distinct honor, and indeed I am proud to congratulate you as the newest inductee to the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. Mr. Zumbo, you want to come up and help with the next presentation? Thank you, Jim. One rule we have for presentations like this is if you're in the audience, you can't have tears in your eyes, because then I will if I look out and see them. So I saw quite a few on that last presentation, first one as well. So it's an emotional time. Mr. Zumbo here? Yep. I'm very pleased and proud to introduce our next inductee to the Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. Jeff Fitch grew up in Rushville, New York, and for the kids in that small community of about 500, there was not always a lot to do. Luckily for Jeff, and for many of us who know him as Coach Fitch, his dad put a new floor and a basketball hoop in the barn, and that's where you could find Coach and his friends almost every day. As a senior at Middlesex Central High School, which is now Marcus Whitman, Jeff had become one of the top players in the region, earning a full basketball scholarship to East Texas State, where he led the nation in free throw percentage as a freshman, was named All-Lone Star Conference 3 times, and upon graduation was drafted by the Dallas Chaparrals of the ABA. So we've got two people already who were drafted by the top level in their sport. Luckily for Fairport, Jeff Fitch went on to coach and came to Fairport in the fall of 1967 as a phys ed health teacher and as the new boys varsity basketball coach. I was here then, and I remember it well. This new guy, he was young, he dressed really cool, he had a fancy car, and he had a really pretty wife. And he was an amazing basketball player. Jeff did not sneak into town. I can tell you, as a 15-year-old basketball player at the time, I was in awe. And the new coach certainly did not disappoint. The next 33 years, chapter 1 of the Fitch basketball era, was truly amazing. 459 wins, 12 Monroe County League titles, the 1975 sectional championship. Coach Fitch was named the Section 5 Coach of the Year 9 times. Jeff is a member of the Section 5 Hall of Fame, as well as the Frontier Field Walk of Fame, and was inducted into the Marcus Whitman High School Hall of Fame and the New York State Basketball Hall of Fame. I guess this Hall of Fame stuff is nothing new for Coach Fitch. Several years ago, the basketball court here at Fairport High School was named the Jeff Fitch Court in his honor. Although a few years ago, the court was appropriately renamed the Coach Fitch Court as a way to honor both Jeff and Scott, as the Fitch tradition of excellence continues now in Chapter 2. I mentioned earlier that Jeff was an amazing player. And I'm really proud to say that I was there that night in 1971 in Canandaigua, when the Russian national team was there to play a local AAU team made up of some of the best amateur players in the Northeast. You might know the name Julius Erving, Randy Smith. These guys are all playing in the NBA, not just playing in the NBA, they started in the NBA. Jeff was on that team. Jeff played on the AAU team along with several young players, as I said, who made it in the NBA. And I can tell you, being at that game, the best player on the court that night was our coach, Jeff Fitch. It was amazing. That's the Russian team that won the gold medal in the Olympics in Munich the following year. Those of us who were there that night will never forget that game or our coach's performance. It was unbelievable. So obviously, Jeff Fitch was a great basketball player and an amazing coach. But what stands out the most for me, and I have known Coach Fitch for almost 60 years, is the impact that he has had on the young men who had the privilege of being on his team. And I see many of them here tonight from back a few years. His players, and I know many of them, would agree that they were all better men for having played for Coach Fitch. And they have remained loyal to him. Many attended his New York State Basketball Hall of Fame induction in Albany. Close to 200 attended a celebration of the first 50 years of Fitch basketball that was held here in Fairport a few years ago. It's hard for me to put into words the respect that Coach's former players and I have for him. To quote one of those former players, Coach Fitch was a coach, yes, but much more than that. He was a mentor, a teacher, and someone who saw what I could be and never stopped helping me reach it, end quote. The legend of Fitch basketball is still going strong, with Scott coaching the boys varsity for his 24th season, Scott? 23rd, 24th? 26th. You're killing me here. And granddaughter Autumn, who, if anybody saw the news last night, Autumn was the Channel 10 Scholar Athlete of the Week. We saw that. She's playing tonight on the girls' varsity game, so when we go down to the gym afterwards, we should see Autumn. There is a wrestler in the family, I learned there tonight too, though. We won't go there. And Sue and Mandy, as always, in the bleachers, cheering Scott and Jeff on. I'm honored to have been there from the start of all this. I'm even more honored to welcome Jeff Fitch as the newest inductee into the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. Randy's talking about that, yeah. Okay. Gotcha, yep. I'm pleased at this time to introduce my former colleague and my longtime friend, Jim Zumbo, who's going to do the next couple of presentations. Jim?
Don't take away that sheet. Okay, could I ask Tony Exton to come up, please, to help with the presentation? And also, our next inductee is going to be Coach Randy Garrett. I like to have people come up and stand here and get looked at while the whole time. Come on up, Randy. Thanks, Tony. I'd like to put people on the spot for a while longer. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we recognize a man who has earned his place among Fairport's best of the best. I was fortunate enough to work with Randy during my 20 years as Director of Health, Physical Education, and Athletic in Fairport, and I'm still lucky enough to call him a good friend. He was and continues to be a valued member of the Fairport family, as he epitomizes what it is to be a Red Raider and embodies our Fairport pride. Simply put, Randy Garrett remains one of the most accomplished and well-respected high school boys lacrosse coaches, not only in Section 5 in New York State, but across the country. Here are just some of his team and individual accomplishments. Over 30 years in Fairport, he coached over 606 career lacrosse games at the varsity and modified levels. As a varsity coach in Webster and Fairport, his teams won 371 games, ranking him second for the most career victories in Section 5 boys lacrosse history. His teams won 12 Monroe County Division titles and 5 Section 5 championships. He coached 75 first-team All-County players, 14 high school All-Americans. He was named Monroe County Public School Athletic Association Coach of the Year 6 times. He served as the Boys Lacrosse League chairman for 28 years and 5 more years as the modified co-chair. He is a member of the Upstate chapter of the New York State Lacrosse Hall of Fame. In 1984, he coached the Western Region Boys Lacrosse team in the inaugural New York Empire State Games. In 1989, he was selected to coach in the prestigious North-South High School All-Star Game. And over the course of his career, he coached at the varsity or modified level in football for Fairport for 31 years. After retiring from Fairport, he was an assistant boys lacrosse coach at St. John Fisher for 7 years, and in 2010, he was inducted into the Fairport Educators Wall of Distinction. I asked a few folks if they could give me a few comments about Coach, and one was Mike Torelli, who's Fairport's current boys lacrosse coach, longtime friend and a colleague. He used a John Wooden quote to describe Randy. "A good coach can change a game. A great coach can change a life." He went on to say Randy's record speaks for itself, but the impact he had on so many students, players, and coaches is incredibly significant. Randy's legacy isn't about trophies. It's about the people he has inspired to be better than they thought they could be. Tony Exton, another friend and colleague who actually nominated Randy, said, "Whether it's tying shoes for kindergartners, teaching middle school boys to dance with girls, high school teams to break down, or college boys how to be men, Coach Garrett is the gold standard." Dave Dunn, a longtime Red Raider and Randy's principal during much of his career at Martha Brown, said, "Randy always found a way to connect with everyone he taught or worked with. To this day, he still enjoys relationships with former students from over 40 years ago. He taught family values and the importance of being a good person, but more importantly, he modeled them every day." For me, one of Randy's superpowers was that he understood that interscholastic athletics is a relationship business. It's all about the people, and sport is simply the vehicle that brings people together to be able to teach important life lessons. Though tonight we honor Randy primarily for his work in Fairport, I'd be remiss if I didn't emphasize the far-reaching impact his mentorship, leadership, and sheer love of the game of lacrosse has had on the sport of boys lacrosse, not just at the high school level, but also at the youth, college,
and even the professional level. I asked Randy if there was anything specific that he wanted me to include in my comments, and he said, "I'm not really sure. I'm so overwhelmed and humbled." Classic Randy Garrett. He certainly wants to say thank you to his wife, Gail, and daughter, Shannon, for all the sacrifices they made to support his career. He also wants to make a special mention of and send thanks to 91-year-old coach Bill Wally Ware, who coached with him at Ithaca the year that Randy got his master's at Ithaca and was coaching the boys lacrosse team there. He also was one of Randy's fishing partners for 20 years up in northern Quebec. Believe it or not, he actually was one of my instructors at Ithaca when I was there, so he'd been there for a while. So at this time, on behalf of every student, athlete, colleague, and community member that has been positively impacted by his energy, his effort, and his passion, it is my absolute honor and privilege to welcome to the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame, Coach Randy Garrett, a.k.a. Batman. Coach Clark, can you come up to help with the next one? Our next inductee is going to be Doug Peel. Doug, if you could come forward. Doug is one of the most successful swimmers in the storied history of Fairport Boys Swimming and Diving Program. He graduated in the class of 1981, and not only was he a leader of Clark Sharks, he was also in the top 10 academically of his class of 700 students. After the story you told me before, that's amazing. No, that's... In 1979, one of the defining moments and swim meets in the history of Fairport swimming took place when the Red Raiders took on Pittsford Sutherland. Sutherland had not lost a meet in 10 years, but Clark Sharks were determined to finally put an end to the dominance and start a new era in Section 5, and that's what they did. As the close meet was clearly going to be decided in the later events, Doug made his presence felt by winning 3 events in the second half of the meet, securing the victory for the new kings of Section 5 swimming. To this day, that epic meet is still talked about in the Fairport swim community and around Section 5. Maybe not so much in Pittsford, but those places. Doug's accomplishments in the pool during both his high school and collegiate careers are nothing short of remarkable. He was a 2-time state champion, winning the 50 freestyle in 1979 and the 100 backstroke in 1981. He earned All-American honors in both the 200-meter relay and the 50 free, and honorable mention All-American in the 100 backstroke. At one point, Doug had held the Fairport school record in 8 of the 11 events in high school swimming. Certainly a testament to his dominance as well as his versatility in the pool. In 1981, Doug was named the Section 5 Swimmer of the Year. After graduating from FHS, Doug went on to the University of Virginia, where he continued his success in the pool and the classroom. He anchored the record-setting 400-meter freestyle relay team and became an Atlantic Coast Conference finalist in multiple events. Doug also was a member of the UVA water polo team that qualified for the Eastern Championship. Academically, Doug earned a spot on the ACC Academic Honor Roll and made Dean's List throughout his college career. Another swimming highlight for Doug took place in 1983 when he swam the length of Canandaigua Lake in record time. He completed the 16-mile swim a full hour faster than anyone had ever done it before. He was escorted on that marathon swim by his father and Coach Clark. They were in the boat, he was in the water. But he was joined that day by Steve Whitman, another Red Raider All-American swimmer. When you talk to Doug, it is quickly apparent how proud he is to this day, to be a Fairport Red Raider. First time I've ever met Doug, and yeah. Doug's work ethic and determination played major roles in reaching his goals, but he credits the outstanding coaching he received from Gary Clark, as well as the support he received from his parents, the Fairport community, and his teammates for the success he had in the pool and in the classroom. As an accomplished swimmer and student, a successful businessman with a career spanning over 30 years, and a contributing community member who has been involved in school and youth programs as a coach in swimming and other sports, Doug serves as an outstanding role model for today's Red Raider student athletes. Doug and his wife, Michelle, are the proud parents of daughters, Samantha and Kelsey, who are outstanding athletes in their own right. And tonight, Doug is especially proud to be inducted with his sister, Laura. So for the many reasons that I've shared with you, it is my honor indeed to welcome our newest member of the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame, Doug Peel, from the class of 1981. Coach Garrett, if you can come back up to help with the presentation for the next. Our next inductee is going to be Tim Sudan. So Tim, if you could please come forward. Whether at the high school, college, international, or professional levels, both as a player and coach, no one has meant more to the sport of boys lacrosse in Rochester than Tim Sudan. As a Red Raider, he earned all-county recognition in football, wrestling, and lacrosse, as well as being voted a captain in all three sports. In his senior season of lacrosse, he earned the prestigious All-American status. After graduating from FHS, Tim attended the University of Massachusetts, where he was a two-time second-team All-American and was voted a tri-captain as a senior. He finished his college career with 114 points and 84 goals, which at the time was the best ever by a UMass midfielder. Following college, these are some of Tim's international and professional career accomplishments. He played on two gold medal winning U.S. national teams in 1994 and 1998, and in 2002 played for Team USA in the Heritage Cup versus Canada. Over 15 seasons of professional indoor and outdoor lacrosse, he played in 173 games for the Rochester Nighthawks, Rochester Rattlers, and Boston Blazers. He became assistant manager of the Rochester Nighthawks indoor lacrosse team in 2008. In 2011, he was named head coach of the Rochester Rattlers outdoor lacrosse team and was named the league's Coach of the Year in 2014. In 2012, he was named the leader for the U.S. indoor national team for the Bowhunters Cup. He currently is the head coach of the Professional Lacrosse League's Denver Outlaws, and this year was voted PLL Coach of the Year as his team advanced to the championship game. He is a member of the National Lacrosse League Hall of Fame, University of Massachusetts Athletic Hall of Fame, and the Fairport Alumni Wall of Fame. Today, Tim is a physical education teacher at Minerva DeLand and an assistant lacrosse coach for Fairport Boys Varsity Lacrosse Team. Tim was nominated by Randy Garrett, who many of you may know that for special occasions, Randy likes to write poems for people. And Randy's latest work is entitled The Peter Pan of Lacrosse. TJ Sudan, the Peter Pan of lacrosse. For over 40 years, he's been the lax boss. It all started back at Martha Brown Middle School, where Coach Slew convinced him lacrosse was cool. TJ put his glove and bat away for a brine stick, convinced lacrosse would get him the best-looking chick. His skill set would make numbers 33 and 25 famous. His love of the game became infectious and contagious. A captain and all-county player in 3 sports and an All-American player, in 1986, TJ was more popular than the Fairport mayor. A 2-time All-American lacrosse player at University of Mass, TJ played with intensity, confidence, passion and class. Selected 2 times to the world team, winning gold, this Peter Pan of lacrosse will never get old. Played professional lacrosse with the Rattlers and Nighthawks. His pigeon toes define the way he ran and the way he walks. TJ is a teacher at Minerva and the Denver Outlaws head coach. Has a mischievous personality, but is someone you can approach. As a Hall of Famer, this one makes 4. He's a grandpa whose 3 grandsons he adores. TJ always made fun of my Madra's sport coat. You cannot argue, though, he is the Fairport lacrosse GOAT. As assistant coach for Coach Torelli's lacrosse team, TJ's career as a teacher and coach has been a dream. A Hall of Fame career like no other. He's a tribute to his teammates, coaches, dad, and mother. Now it is my honor and privilege to welcome Tim Sudan as our next inductee into the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. You gonna call them up?
Thanks, Jim. Great job. Thank you, Mr. Zumbo. You know, Z-U-M-B-O, right? Zumbo. That's how you spell. The next presenter I'm going to introduce represents to me what Fairport was like in the 50s and 60s when I was a kid. It wasn't a rule that you had to have 3 or 4 players on your team whose name ended in O, but it was a fact. And to represent that group of the Pitneros and the Masangelos and the Sozios and the Bartolotta, that's A, I'm sorry, but all those great kids who grew up on the north side of Fairport were such a big part of what Fairport was back in the day. And on our committee, I asked Larry DiRizio to be part of that, a part of our group, and he's been on the committee since the start. And Larry connected with our next inductee, and we've asked Larry to do the speech for him. So please welcome from the class of 1968, our next presenter, Larry DiRizio. And Amy, would you come up and help out? Amy Bruckell is going to help with this presentation. There she is. Yep.
After that introduction, I think I got to speak like this, huh? Yeah. We all grew up in Fairport. It's still a wonderful place. I still live in Fairport. I lived far away for a couple of years back in my 20s, but always came back here because this is home, and there's nowhere like it. The things that I have friends that I've known since I was that big. And it's just a great place to live, and I really love seeing all of you here tonight to honor this group of people that are being inducted. It is my great privilege to introduce Dave Lanning, our next Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame inductee. Dave couldn't help it, but he was born in East Rochester. He was raised there. As you know, we used to play for a Little Brown Jug, and it was quite a rivalry, quite friendly. But, you know, we all get born where we're born. He couldn't help that. He attended high school in East Rochester, played 4 years, all 3 sports, baseball, football, and basketball. He excelled in those. He graduated from there in 1965. Then he attended SUNY Brockport, graduating in 1969 with teaching credentials. He attended a master's degree after that. He attained a master's degree after that at Nazareth College. While there, he met his wife of the future, Joanne. Eventually, they were married in 1970. He parented 3 sons, who he's very proud of. He continued after that playing some semi-pro football. He was a wide receiver. He actually got a tryout with the New York Jets. Something else that this community has produced, people that at least get that far. He didn't make the Jets, but luckily for us, he was offered and accepted a teaching and coaching position at Fairport High School. He remained there from 1969 to 2002. Dave coached Fairport High School baseball as an assistant 1970 to 1972, and then was a head coach until 1996 with a 75% winning record. 14 Monroe County championships, 3 sectional championships, and 3rd all-time in sectional wins. He then coached also JV football 1971 to 1972, and then was the varsity head coach 1993 to 2000. Again, he had a 75% winning record, including 8 county and sectional championships, and in 1977, he was named New York State Coach of the Year. Subsequently, he was inducted into the Frontier Field Wall of Fame, Section 5 Baseball and Football Halls of Fame, Fairport Educators Wall of Distinction, and he's received a Press Radio Club Award. Although his coaching statistics and awards are impressive, we cannot ignore the impact his teaching and coaching had on so many young people. Many of his former students have returned in later years to thank Dave for the positive impact he had making on them as people, teachers, and coaches. Dave has also continued teaching and coaching with Challenger Baseball for physically disabled children, as well as coaching at St. John Fisher. I met Dave back when I was about 22. He was a few years older than me, and I got asked to play in a softball game with guys that were 4 or 5 years older than me. So they stuck me in right field, and the first ball that came to me went through my legs, and I chased it, and Dave said, "It's all right." He said, "It'll be okay." I was a nervous wreck, but he's just such a great man. His wife that he married, she passed away about 6 years ago. His sons, the 3 of them, one lives in Georgia, one in Penfield, and one in Victor. Dave still lives in Fairport and carries a Red Raider uniform around with him every time I see him. He still enjoys exercise, reading, and music. It is my great pleasure and honor to induct into the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame Dave Lanning.
Stay up here for a minute. So, congratulations, Coach Lanning. Larry, thank you. I have to go back to those days when it was DeRizio and Sozio and Pittenero. My dad was coaching varsity basketball in the late 50s. And at practice one Friday afternoon, he told the guys, for the next 15 minutes, go out on the court, go where you're going to be tomorrow night and practice your shooting for tomorrow night's game. This is over in the West Avenue School with a leaky gym and the cement floor. So the guys go out and they foul shots or wherever they're going to be, and one guy goes over and sits on the bench. And my dad says, "What are you doing over there, Matt?" "Yeah, it was your brother, Larry." And Matt says, "Well, Coach, this is where I'm going to be tomorrow night, on the bench." So, and I think it was your brother again, Larry. Now they moved to Minerva DeLand the next year. We got the big brand new school that was big enough for about 8 years before we had to get another school. And my dad throws, I think it was Larry DeRizio, or Matt DeRizio, not Larry, out of practice for not hustling. He throws him out of practice like you used to do. Don't do that too much anymore. And he goes home, and 20 minutes later, he's back in the gym with his father. "Coach Paddock, why'd you throw my son out of practice?" "Because he was lazy and he wasn't hustling." "Thanks, Coach." Grabbed him by the ear and took him out of the gym. So, times have changed. Is our jazz ensemble here? Are they here? Well, over here. Set them up over here. We're fortunate right now to take a break from our speeches. Stand up if you want, turn your chairs around if you want, or sit right where you are and listen. We're going to hear the song that has been #1 on the hit list for the last 45 or 65 years in Fairport, the Fairport Fight Song. Hit it, guys. right, thank you. How about a big hand for them? The name of that song is On Old Fairport. It's got nothing to do with Wisconsin. For our next couple of presentations, I'm very pleased. Thank you, guys. Nice job. Thank you to the band. Thank you, Elena. Our next couple of presentations are going to be handled by one of our graduates from the class of 1997. A few years after I got here, she was on the girls' varsity basketball team and has been on our committee since the beginning. And please welcome to the podium Kate Buss to do our next couple of presentations. Kate? Here you go. Take this right now.
All right, may I also have Coach Karen Thal up here to help me with the next induction. Coach, my basketball coach. And Mary Jane Booley, would you like to come up and... Mary Jane, also known as MJ, is the second oldest of 7 children and graduated from Fairport High School in the class of 1980. MJ was arguably the greatest 3-sport athlete in the history of Fairport girls athletics. Her excellent work ethic, along with her tremendous athletic ability, earned her a place on 12 varsity teams across her 4 years of high school athletics. That is an amazing accomplishment that will likely never be repeated. Mary Jane excelled as a 4-year member of the varsity soccer team, varsity basketball team, and varsity softball team. She served as team captain in each sport and earned many awards and honors. On the soccer team, MJ started all 4 years as a forward. She was a team leader in scoring and assists, which helped the team far into sectional play each season. She also earned first team All-County honors. MJ was also a 4-year starter on the basketball team. She was a team leader in scoring and rebounds throughout her career. She earned first team All-County and was selected to the Rochester area All-Star team, which is equivalent to today's All-Greater Rochester team. She was named to the Section 5 All-Tournament team and earned the Fairport Red Raider Award her senior year. Mary Jane was a starter 3 of her 4 varsity softball seasons as center fielder. Her tremendous fielding abilities and solid hitting earned her first team All-County honors multiple times. Beyond MJ's outstanding abilities as an athlete and her many accolades, she rightfully earned the respect of her coaches, teammates, opponents, and officials. She did this first by displaying respect for each of them. She was always supportive and encouraging to everyone around her. Mary Jane has faced many challenges over the years that would have broken many people, yet she always moved forward with dignity and grace. MJ has managed to hold on to a quiet strength that reminds everyone around her what resilience truly looks like. While MJ is too humble to ever acknowledge this, her resilience isn't about pretending things are easy, it's about refusing to give up. This speaks volumes about her character as a person and what made her an ideal captain, teammate, and friend. During Mary Jane's high school career, she was, without a doubt, an integral part of the inception of the girls' athletic programs at Fairport High School. She is one of the original Fairport Lady Red Raiders and set the bar high for female athletes for many, many years to come. After graduation, Mary Jane attended Division I Canisius College on a full basketball scholarship. Over her 4 years at Canisius, she scored more than 600 points, and her field goal shooting percentage is still the 8th highest on school record. Despite missing most of her sophomore season due to a knee injury, MJ rebounded her junior year to help lead Canisius to the 1983 NCAA Tournament Elite 8. MJ was named to the NCAA Regional All-Tournament team. That 1983 team was inducted into the Canisius University Hall of Fame. MJ was named Conference Player of the Week many times, as well as earning ECAC honor roll status. She also served as team captain her senior year. Mary Jane graduated from Canisius in 1984 with a degree in athletic training and earned her master's degree at Indiana State. She worked as an athletic trainer for 10 years at St. John Fisher College and area high schools. She also coached the St. John Fisher College women's softball team from 1987 to 1991. MJ went back to school at Damon College to pursue another degree in physical therapy, and she worked in this field for 24 years and just retired this past July. Mary Jane lives in Penfield and still keeps her competitive spirit alive, playing arguably the world's greatest sport, golf, and paddle tennis, and enjoying time with family and friends. It is our pleasure to now induct Mary Jane Booley into the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. All right, Jim Castor, would you please join me up here, as well as our next inductee, part of the powerhouse Peel family, Laura Peel Dissington. I feel like her parents should be getting inducted as well, but. All right, our next inductee this evening is Laura Peel Dissington, a member of the class of 1982 and one of the most successful and accomplished female swimmers in the storied history of our girls' swim team. And yes, Laura is half of the brother-sister Peel family members being inducted tonight. Laura is, of course, accustomed to being first, however, she had to go second tonight. As her numerous records in the FHS pool stood the test of time for decades. And in fact, her record in the 50 freestyle that she set 44 years ago still appears on the board as the fastest time ever for that event by a Fairport swimmer. However, Laura recently told us that that record is about to fall, and she's excited as anyone to support current Red Raider swimmer Kaylee Lawrence, who is poised to set a new mark at any time. And I believe Kaylee is in attendance tonight. Kaylee, stand up. How cool is it that Laura Peel, who holds that long-standing record, has been in touch with our current swimmer to support and encourage her as she attempts to break Laura's record? That certainly says something about the kind of person that Laura is. Her accomplishments in the pool are beyond amazing. High school All-American in 7 events, including the 50 free and 200 medley relay. New York State champion in the 50 free in both 1979 and 1981, an event for which she was ranked 9th in the nation in 1982. When Laura graduated from FHS, she held 2 New York State records, 4 Section 5 records, and 6 FHS records. After high school, Laura attended Southern Illinois University, where she attained Division I All-American status, before then transferring to Monroe Community College. While swimming for MCC, she became a national champion in 3 events, and in 1986 was named MCC Female Co-Athlete of the Year. Laura was then inducted in the MCC Athletic Hall of Fame in 2004. Laura completed her collegiate career swimming for the University of Hawaii, a little bit warmer, where her success continued as she became a Division I All-American again. and was invited to the United States Olympic qualifier meet in Austin, Texas, and received the University of Hawaii Outstanding Performance Award in 1987. In 2010, Laura was inducted into the Section 5 Swimming and Diving Hall of Fame. Following her competitive swimming career, Laura has since coached hundreds of young swimmers while owning and managing a private swim club in Florida. Needless to say, Laura's resume as a swimmer made her an easy choice for induction into the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame. If it wasn't for those lofty accomplishments, however, Laura may just have easily been selected for this honor based on her undying Red Raider spirit, her enthusiasm for her sport and for Fairport, and her pride and appreciation for being part of the Fairport Girls Swim program. When asked about her fondest memories of high school were, Laura spoke emotionally about her teammates, about the team bonding meals and get-togethers before meets, about the pre-meet preparations in the locker room, and especially about how much her coach at the time, Coach Marilyn Thomas, motivated, inspired, and supported her. It is obvious in talking with Laura just how much her experience as a Fairport Red Raider meant to her, not only as she swam at the Division I college level, but also throughout her whole life. Our Fairport mantra of once a Raider, always a Raider, is alive and well in the life of Laura Peel Dissington, and so it is with great pride that we present her tonight for induction into the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame.
Boy, that was a great speech. Who read that one?
All right. May I please have Coach Amy Bruckle join me up here, as well as our next inductee, Rosie Russell. Be careful watching our next Fairport Red Raider Hall of Fame inductee, because if you blink, you just might miss her. That's because Rosie Russell, a star indoor track, cross country, and softball player, had lightning speed. But while her speed may have gotten everyone's attention, it was her heart, determination, and her pure grit that made Rosie truly unforgettable. Rosie wasn't just a three-sport athlete. She was an exceptional three-sport athlete. She played a total of 10 varsity seasons between her three sports and was a 5-time All-Greater Rochester selection, 2 for softball, 2 for indoor track, and 1 for cross country. To have an athlete who is a leader in every sport she plays is almost unbelievable. But it seemed almost easy for Rosie. She won multiple sectional titles in indoor track and field and in softball. During her time at Fairport, she set no less than 5 indoor track school records and set Section 5 records in the 4x400 and 4x800 relays. In those relays, she placed in the top 4 in the state and 10th nationally. In cross country, she placed in the top 10 in sectionals 2 years in a row. But softball was Rosie's passion, and her work ethic was second to none. Coach Carr remembers the first time she met Rosie. She was in 4th grade, and she was diving all over the gym to stop ground balls. That was quintessential Rosie. There was never a day when Rosie gave less than 200%. If she missed a ground ball, she'd ask you to hit another one and make it harder this time. Rosie led her softball team to 3 Section 5 championships and the New York State Championship game in 2009, Fairport's first ever Final Four appearance. Rosie would tell you that stats are overrated, but her batting average was .452, and her career on-base percentage was .601. She was on base over half of the times she was up to bat. Rosie led the team every year in stolen bases, amassing 22 in one season, a record that still stands today. As the leadoff hitter, it was common occurrence for Rosie to hit a single to first, steal second, and then easily score on any ball that was hit to the outfield. Rosie and her lightning speed had 55 base hits in 2009 and was a pivotal reason the team had a 25-3 record that year. Rosie's softball teammates nicknamed her the BA, which stands for bad, well, you can fill in the blank. But that nickname came because Rosie refused to ever say a curse word. She led by example in everything she did, on and off the field. She played with such fierce intensity, such toughness, and such confidence that her teammates couldn't resist giving her a nickname that summed it all up. She truly was a BA. Whether it was a long cross-country meet in the cold, an indoor track race that came down to the wire, or a clutch moment on the softball diamond, Rosie gave everything she had every single time. She went on to play Division I softball at Lehigh University, ran a Boston Marathon, and works as a successful engineer today at Lockheed Martin. None of these accomplishments are a surprise to anyone who knows her. Rosie embodies everything Fairport Athletics stand for: determination, teamwork, resilience, and heart. So tonight, it is only fitting that we honor the BA herself. I really want to say the word, but. The one who proved you don't have to shout to lead, and you don't have to swear to be tough. Congratulations to a remarkable athlete, a true teammate, and now a very deserving member of the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame, Rosie Russell.
That was great. Okay, Rosie. These people are pretty special, aren't they? Amazing. Kate, thank you. Nice job. And Larry, appreciate everybody being here. And we're not done yet. We got one more very special person. Deb Vangelo, would you come up here? And Karen Thal, would you come up here and help us? Great stories. That's what makes this night so special, hearing about all these great people. Deb Vangelo came all the way from Houston for tonight. Some of you may wonder, Shannon Smith was voted in this year too. Shannon lives in LA, was planning on coming. Work, life got in the way. She's going to be inducted next year. But we're so thrilled that all 11 people that are being inducted tonight traveled from a long ways away, a lot of them, to be here tonight, including Deb, who's here from Houston. So thank you to all of you for being here. It'd be a lot less fun if you weren't here. Thank you. So our next inductee to the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame has traveled all the way from Houston, as I just said, to be with us tonight. Debbie Vangelo is a member of the class of 1981 at FHS, and she was inducted into the Alumni Hall of Fame in 2005. We're just going to say 5. I don't know. It was around then, I think, Deb. Welcome home, Debbie. We're thrilled that you are here tonight. As a young girl growing up in the 70s in Fairport, Deb played everything: soccer, basketball, softball, track and field. You name it, she was out there. There was no golf team for girls at the time, which should be noted, as that is the sport. That's the sport is the one where Deb Vangelo has claimed her fame as one of the most successful and highly respected LPGA golf instructors in the nation. You can check it out in Golf Digest magazine. I've seen your name in there several times. It hasn't helped my game at all, but I've seen your name in there. Of course, at the time when Deb was in high school, girls' sports were just getting started in Section 5 and in New York State. It's certainly fair to say, not only was Deb a star athlete in high school in her chosen sport at the time of track and field, but it could also be said that she was a pioneer for women's sports in Fairport. Let me tell you what she did as a Red Raider. She played 3 sports in all 4 years of her high school experience as a soccer player and as a leader on the indoor and outdoor track and field teams. In her junior and senior years, Deb was captain of both the indoor and outdoor track teams and was selected to the all-county team for both seasons, all 4 years. As a senior, she was a Section 5 champion in the discus, and the team was a 2-time Section 5 champions as well. Debbie received the Spark Plug Award in 1980 and 1981, and the Red Raider Award as a senior. She qualified for the Empire State Games. For those of you who may not remember, it was like the New York State Olympics, where she won the silver medals in the javelin event. Her outstanding high school career led to a full scholarship at Division I, University of Northern Iowa, where she continued to excel in shot put, discus, and javelin. You just don't look like a shot put, discus, and javelin person to me, Deb, but you're tough as nails. One summer while in college, she had a summer job, I think I have this right, with, of all things, Golf Digest magazine. And her interest in golf was sparked and led to an amazing career in the world of professional golf. Debbie's resume includes stints as the Division I golf coach at the University of Northern Iowa, as the director of instruction at the Sweetwater Country Club, Houston, which at the time was the home of the LPGA, Ladies Professional Golf Association, and currently is the LPGA golf instructor at Riverbend Country Club, Houston. She has been named a top 50 women professional golf instructors, again by Golf Digest, the sports Bible, and in 2012 was the National Teacher of the Year in women's golf. In 2023, she received the Nancy Lopez Golf Achievement Award, and I know Deb credits much of her success in the world of golf to her longtime and close friend with the all-time LPGA Tour winner, the Tiger Woods of women's golf, Kathy Whitworth. Like several other of our inductees this year, Debbie is a member of other Hall of Fames, including the LPGA Hall of Fame, the University of Northern Iowa Athletic Hall of Fame, and as I said earlier, the Fairport Alumni Hall of Fame. As a young athlete growing up in Fairport, Deb remembers fondly her coach, Don Hayden. She told me that Coach Hayden not only encouraged her and inspired her in her track and field career, but he provided her with a model of what a teacher and a coach could be. I can also tell you that Deb Vangelo is a wonderful role model for the young athletes at Fairport High School today. All of our inductees are so special. To finish up with you, Deb, and knowing the kind of person you are, it's the icing on the cake, in my opinion. Humble, kind, appreciative, talented are all words that fit when you talk about Deb Vangelo. Now, Deb, if you can just give me a few tips to improve my putting technique, you'd be almost perfect, but that's another time. In talking with her in the lead up to tonight, she frequently expressed her gratitude, not just for this honor, which means a great deal to her, but her deep appreciation for growing up in Fairport. Her family, her teachers, her coaches, and the entire community have meant the world to her, and she's a perfect example of the type of person we want to be honoring with both our alumni and our athletic Hall of Fames. Tonight we recognize you, Deb, for your amazing athletic achievements, as well as for the manner in which you achieved them. And so it is indeed my privilege and great honor to introduce the newest member of the Fairport Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame from the class of 1981, Debbie Vangelo. I just got that putting tip that I was looking for. Look out, Coach Fitch. I'll be making them next year. How about a round of applause for all of our inductees tonight? And I'd like you to give a round of applause to our two committee members. They're both new to the committee, Christian Pachano and Jojo Zedek. Thanks for helping out tonight, you guys. Christian joined the committee this fall, and Jojo joined it yesterday, so we're all good. A few announcements, and then we'll be done for this evening. Last year we didn't have it ready, but this year we do, thanks to Tony Exton and Aaron Smith and some others who have been great help in this whole project. We have a virtual display board in the lobby down by the auditorium. It's pretty cool, and it's high-tech, and it's the latest model. And you just go up, and if you want to learn about Mark Banowitz, you just press on his name, and this gigantic picture of Mark will pop up, and you read all about him. And so I encourage you, before you leave tonight, to check it out. It's nicely done, and we're very proud of it. Also, our inductees, as you know, we're going to be here for a few more minutes, and then we're going to go to the gym. There'll be chairs at the end of the court for the inductees. You'll be escorted down there by our students who are helping tonight. And between the games, not halftime, between the games, we introduce the inductees to the crowd at the game, and you walk out to the middle of the gym. So don't disappear on us. And then we're done after that. But that's a special moment. The crowd really seems to love it, too. So I want to make sure we do that. If you'd like to nominate somebody for next year's Hall of Fame, go online, the district website. I think it's under the alumni and recognition. Click on that, and you'll find how to do that. Don't ask me, but ask Tony. He knows how to do it. But we're always looking for more nominations. And inductees, as soon as I get done talking, which it'll be pretty soon, the inductees are to come right up here and stand in front of that board so we can get a picture of the inductees. Last year, I forgot to announce that, and trying to gather them all was impossible. So please, inductees, as soon as I'm done, come on up there for a picture. And I also like to invite the students who are in the varsity club who are helping out to come up too, because maybe we could do a picture of just the inductees and the students too. That'd be great. Thank you. So I don't think we're forgetting anything else. I think it's been a fantastic Fairport night. I cannot thank you enough. I just love this. You may be able to tell. This is a special thing to me, and I'm so proud of Fairport, so proud of all you for being here. The last thing I want to say, I'm only going to say half of it. Once a Raider. Always a Raider. Thanks for coming, everybody. Picture time.